Psychonauts 2 is vastly unique and so surprisingly comforting at the same time that it was easy to let hours disappear while playing this game. And the only game in recent memory that cradled me into such a stupor of satisfaction was Breath of the Wild. Even when I wasn't playing Psychonauts 2, I was thinking about my next round of adventuring in the Motherlobe. And on nights where I felt too drained or tired to play games, I was drawn back to this game to see what new twists the story would throw at me. And the longer I played this game with its world and its mind-bending story, the more I fell in love with Psychonauts 2. Welcome back to No Time Gamer. We provide reviews, tutorials, and more for the busy gaming life. Psychonauts is a cult classic, but at no point did it ever hit my radar when looking for games to play. Now, after playing Psychonauts 2, I realize I missed out. Truthfully, I wasn't particularly excited for Psychonauts 2 when it was announced. I only started playing it to fill an open spot in our content schedule. Now I am so glad I've gotten to experience it, and it may well be my favorite game of 2021. Psychonauts 2 picks up after the events of the first game, and happily the team at Double Fine Studios included a charming animated cutscene to get newcomers all caught up. Between that and the excellent opening tutorial section that got me used to Raz's psychic powers, I was already engaged in the story and quite comfortable with the controls. But this was not the only thing that made me feel good about the game. Psychonauts 2's style and humor transported me back to the mid-90s Nickelodeon era of shows like Real Monsters and Rocko's Modern Life. If you're not familiar with them, these cartoons had weird, unique art styles and characters, and a flair for dealing with more grown-up issues in humorous and digestible ways. Not only does the Psychonauts franchise contain odd characters and worlds to explore, it delves into deep emotional and mental issues with humor and heart. It felt like those shows of yesteryear were brought to life, and I was fully invested. But this sense of nostalgia alone would not be enough to keep me hooked for hours on end. The gameplay and story beats dug their claws into me and wouldn't let go. The story seemed like a standard spy tale, with secret agents trying to stop the bad guy, and the team of Psychonauts trying to find a mole among their ranks. But since this is a Psychonauts tale, nothing plays out in a normal way. The majority of the game is set within minds of many of its characters. Raz must engage the deepest anxieties, fears, and obsessions of these people to free them from these hangups so they can reciprocate the help. And since the levels are in the mind, anything goes. Mental levels are designed around the theme of an individual's emotional and mental states, and what is in them is not always what you would expect. A character suddenly obsessed with gambling has a casino theme plastered over her medical hospital background. A man afraid of working with others but loves food has a nightmare of a cooking game show stewing about his brain and is hosted by rude, autonomous puppets. And there are so many more. Each adventure into a new mind refreshed the game and always had me pleasantly surprised by what I found. And the gameplay pairs along nicely with all these kooky worlds and settings. This is an action platformer. Lots of platform jumping, rail grinding, and fisticuffs are present, but they are all so well done with excellent controls that I never got frustrated or confused. The combat in particular is great. At first it seemed a little easy, with only one or two types of enemies to face, but that changes the deeper into the story you go. Not only do enemy types have unique themes that tie them to a particular emotional or mental issue, they also have different attacks and require contrasting strategies to defeat them. 3 or 4 combination of baddies keep you on the move and make combat encounters fluid and engaging. And the boss fights are awesome. They are not the most challenging bosses I've taken on, but they are colorful, dynamic, unique, and tie in well with the emotional themes of the mind they inhabit, and I felt satisfied after beating each of them. The only drawbacks I see for busy gamers comes down to the style and story delivery. I've already stressed enough of the uniqueness and weirdness of Psychonauts 2, and for me, I love it, but I can see where some folks might find it jarring or too cartoony. I know many people don't want such silliness in their games, and maybe they have kids and are weary of a cartoon aesthetic. I get that. On the bright side, it is a fairly safe game to play around kids and their impressionable minds. The other issue is the abundance of cutscenes. There are a lot of story breaks, so much so that my kids at one point asked me why I was watching the game and not playing it. It was a little annoying in the earlier parts of the game, but the deeper I played, I found the cutscenes and story beats charming and enjoyable. I was quite frankly shocked at how much I loved Psychonauts 2. Its style, humor, heart, and gameplay coalesced to make one of the best games I've played in quite some time. And even more impressive is how flawless the game is. I didn't run into bugs or glitches or even wonky physics to break me from the experience. It was an extremely smooth game. If you dig the style, want something that will constantly surprise you, is different from almost any other game made today, and you like a great action platformer, then you will not be disappointed. So for busy gamers, any gamer, Psychonauts 2 is time well spent.